If you're like me, you got started with photography after you saw someone's work. You picked up your camera, you started creating images, and you did the inevitable that happens to a lot of people. You start comparing yourself to other people that's been taking pictures for years or even decades before you even thought about it. I get it, but that perception or that perspective of comparing yourself to other people, especially in the beginning, is really dangerous. That can cause you to not do what you really enjoy doing, which is creating images. And if we don't create the images that we want to create, regardless of how good you know they are or how bad you may perceive them to be, give yourself a little grace to learn. But the part that's really heartbreaking about it is that it can stop you from doing it. But when we do this, we're not only cutting ourselves short of doing what we enjoy doing, we're also missing out on the opportunity to both build and inspire ourselves and others. Then after that, what do we typically start doing? We start thinking, oh, I need this gear to do this, or I need that gear. Now, don't get me wrong, gear does matter, to a certain point. But in the beginning and for a lot of types of photography, it really doesn't. You can have an inexpensive camera that's been made within the last, say, 10 years and still create wonderful images. Having certain gear can make our job or your job easier, but that doesn't mean you can't create nice work with the gear that you have. So when I started this channel, I knew that I wanted to help other photographers that's just starting out or videographers along their journey, giving them tips that I've learned along the way. So let's consider this. If I was to start all over again, what would I do differently? Now, of course, I would have a camera of some sort. I would have a lens and probably just start with the best glass that I could afford at the time. Even though I may not know exactly what I want to take pictures of, I would consider the coverage of the 24 to 70 range. Oh, and I also have a special guest who's a content creator that's also a photographer. But let's see what Mr. T to the M to the IDD has to say.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am T to the M to the IDD, T Mid, and today I'm going to tell you the 3 pieces of gear that I would get if I was starting this photography journey over. Now, I already knew that I was going into off-camera flash. So besides the camera, memory cards, and those types of things, the 3 pieces of gear that I would get would be, one would be a light modifier. It would be a different light modifier than the one I originally had, which was a square light modifier, because now that I know the importance of being able to shape light and the accessories that go along with certain modifiers to help contribute to be able to shape and control your light, I definitely would get a different light modifier to start off, because it would help my creative process. The second thing that I would get would be a good strobe. I bought several different speed lights initially, but had I just taken that money and bought a nice, like say Godox 8300 Pro, I could have bought that one time and then I wouldn't have had to buy more lights. So I would have got me a good light just to start off with. And the third thing that I would get is a light stand, because I personally, over the years, have tumbled over so many lights because I had a flimsy light stand. It's just only right to get the proper gear to get the job done, and you don't want to lose any lights. I mean, you're talking about a couple $100s there. So those are the 3 things that I would get if I was starting this journey over. Now, in terms of tips for newer photographers, one thing that I cannot stress enough is to practice. And what I mean by that is you learn a lot of things from other sources, whether it be YouTube or instructional in person, but make sure you go out, get a model, get some products if you do product photography, but just get outside and practice, because that way you can better learn your craft. Peace.
So a special shout out to Mr. T to the M to the I to the D. My guy, thanks for taking the time to shoot that video for me, okay? If I did not have a camera, I would try to pick a camera system that had a lens support system, not only a nice selection of lens that's made by the same manufacturer, but also a pretty nice choice of lens that's made by a third party. The reason being is sometimes the lens can be, most time the lens by the manufacturer are very expensive. So to help soften the cost of it, I would also look at third-party lens such as Sigma or Tamron. Now, I'm a big fan of both the Sony camera bodies and lens, but I also like the Sigma lens. One of the first things I would really encourage you to do is practice. And not only practice, I would also encourage you to find your community. Your community would be people that you can bounce ideas off of, if you have any issues that you can go to or pick their brains with, or to get tips from. I would really encourage you to reach out to whoever it is that you admire that's, doing the type of photography work that you like, and try to pick their brains. The worst they could say is no, or not even respond. All you need is one person to respond to help you out. The second thing I would suggest is that you invest in a cleaning kit for your camera and lens. You'll be surprised at how much dust accumulates on your lens, or even get to the sensor. And the last thing you want to do is you want to take a picture and notice spots on there you can't figure out where it is. And the last place you'll check is the last place that you really want to clean, being a new photographer or videographer, and that's the sensor of your camera. And the third thing that I would recommend would be a nice steady tripod. The reason being, you can place your camera on your tripod and adjust it to the height of to the exact height that you want it, or angle that you want it, position that you want it, location that you want it, and work on the composition. I hope this video has encouraged you in some form to keep moving forward. Subscribe for future content. Go get your camera and be great. God bless.